Hey everybody, welcome behind the scenes here at Jamie Riddler Studios. I'm Jamie and I'm so glad to invite you in to my space, into my studio, and to have this time to hang out with you. Thanks so much for stopping by. I've been thinking a lot today about what it means to be in self-isolation. Some of us are in isolation with other people. Some of us are on our own. And I think there has never been a better time to become your own best friend. So those of you who are extroverts, I know you're missing your people. You're probably Zooming and hanging out as best you can, but you want to be in their presence. You want to enjoy that exchange of energy. You want to give them a big hug. And I know. And then those of you who are introverts, you probably are treasuring some of this time, but maybe you also have family home when you're used to being on your own. And so you're a little prickly that this is a time when you actually are in closer quarters than you think. Or even if you're on your own, maybe you're starting to come to that point where you're like, it would be cool to have some external inspiration, even if it isn't other people. It's getting out and experience things and doing things. And here I am in the same four walls. And maybe you're still loving it. In which case, awesome. Enjoy it. You're already a master at handling this situation. So if you have lessons for us, please share. How are you making the most of this time? But I've really been thinking about part of what happens is when we're suddenly in our own company a lot, how are we being? Are we being good company? Sometimes we're not. Sometimes one of the reasons we don't love being on our own is that we have a lot of inner critic happening. That feeling of, why aren't you doing something? This is, or that voice of fear, this is going to go on forever. And you're not, I need puppets. And you hear that voice and you associate it with yourself and you associate it with being alone with yourself, being alone with your thoughts. That's when those voices are the loudest. So first of all, I want to say that yes, those voices stem out of your experience. They maybe the fear voice certainly stems out of some truth in your heart, but then they kind of take off and riff and become their own entity. And I want to invite you to find your way to coming to your spirit, your deepest self, your shining light, your kindness, and think about how that part of you can rise and be the company you have in the world today. So if you were hanging out with your best friend, how would you be talking to her right now? What would you be doing with her right now? And so I want to suggest a couple of things. One is to take some time for a short free write every day. So just 5 minutes to take whatever is on your mind or in your heart and put it on the page. And this is a way of having a conversation with yourself. It's a way of being able to say out loud, not have those thoughts bouncing around inside and having nowhere to go, but letting them out, being able to see them, being able to hear them, being able to experience what is going on inside of you. So it's like having a conversation with yourself, and make it, if you can, make it, the first thing is just to do it. And the second thing is, how can you make it wonderful? Like for me, I sat this morning, and every morning I sit here in my space and I look out the window, and today I was able to feel the sunlight on my face. And I just poured stuff out of my heart. No editing, no judgment. Just embracing all these different parts of myself and all these different feelings that I'm having or thoughts that I'm having, just giving them a space to be free. It's like all those thoughts get locked up as they're in isolation inside of yourself. So let them out into the backyard of your journal and let them run around and play, and let that be a conversation you have with yourself. Also, really think about, how can I be good company with myself? How can I show myself some kindness? How can I show myself some love? If I had a friend who was feeling down, what might I do? Would I make her a cup of tea? Would I give her a book that was meaningful to me? Would I, in addition to the conversation that we've just had, would I bake her some cookies? What would I do? What would you do for a best friend? And then turn around and do that for yourself. So doing something kind might be a good thing to do. But then also, doing something fun together, associating alone time with enjoyment, right? Being good company to yourself. Maybe spend some time collaging or creating or reading or doing a crossword or listening to music or dancing, so that time with yourself becomes time you look forward to. It's not a punishment to hang out with you. You are awesome. I love hanging out with you. And so learning to love hanging out with you is also a precious gift. So do some journaling, which is a way of having a conversation with yourself. Find some way to actively be kind to your precious self, and also find a way to have fun with yourself, to create alone time as fun time. And again, to those introverts for whom you're like, yeah, duh, of course, this is what I do, leave us some tips. We'd love to hear what it is that helps you be a good friend to yourself and enjoy your time alone. And also remember that as you are in that alone time, and if some fear starts to spiral up, or that inner critic starts to pile up, or if some negative voices start to be ever so present and maybe they don't even belong to you, create a little bubble of goodness around yourself. Do not allow yourself to be bullied by that negativity or that voice, and instead decide, hey, and it takes practice, hey, this is my time. It's my time with me. I am a good friend to myself. I like being in my own company. And so I'm just going to say, hey, voices, I see you and I recognize you, but in this bubble, while I am resting, or while I am baking, or while I'm doing this puzzle, I want you to just chill. I want you to just give me some space. Create a set of practice boundaries with that part of you. And it's okay to keep hearing it. Just go, yeah, I'm just not listening right now. Meditation is such a good practice for building this muscle, because in meditation, we sit and we throw all our attention on our breath. And then when thoughts come up, we go, yeah, see you, gotcha, got it. I'm paying attention to this. We don't get hung up. We don't get distracted. We don't go off on a tangent. We don't follow every rabbit, every bird that shows up. We don't follow it. We just go, got it. See you. Know you're there. I'm paying attention to this. And so it's kind of like going back to this best friend feeling. If you're having a conversation with your very best friend and she needs you and you're hanging out with her, and then all these distractions happen, you're like, hey, cool, right? Yeah, I'm with you. Sure, that's going on. There's a siren going on outside. Cool. The dogs are barking. Cool. Mail carrier came to the door. Cool. I'm with you. I'm with you right now. So be with yourself right now. Be kind to yourself. Have conversations with yourself and have some fun with yourself. Learning to be your own best friend will be a skill, a talent, something you can rely on for the rest of your life. Because in every moment, the one person that is there for you all the time, no matter what, is you. I'm glad to be here with you today. Thanks so much for hanging out behind the scenes here in the studio. I'm so glad that we can have this time together, and I hope you're doing well. I am sending you lots of love. Practice this week being your own best friend. I can tell you, you're going to be lucky to have you in your life. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.